Hey everyone, and welcome back. So this video may be a little late, but this is going to be like my kind of first quarter stats video for the, first 3 months of the year. And I just want to go over those stats with you. I'm not necessarily a numbers person, but I am interested to see kind of like how I read, what I read as far as like genre and like the audience and just different things like that. And one quick thing before I forget, due to the amount of books that I read in the first quarter, I have upped my goal on Goodreads to reflect that. So the goal is now 100 books for the year versus the 50 books that I was wanting to get this year, because I technically read 34 books, one of which was a DNF, so fully read 33 books in the first 3 months of the year, which for me is kind of insane. So let's just go through various stats of what I read. So overall, I've already said 33 books. For a total number of pages of 7,735, which for me, that's a lot. And that would break down to about 86 pages per day. As far as format, there were 3 books that I owned, and like I read from my own TBR. There were 7 library books, 1 review copy, 2 ebooks, 9 audiobooks, 13 graphic novels or comics, and 1 manga. As far as genres go, there were 4 sci-fi, 7 fantasy, 7 mystery, 3 contemporary, 3 nonfiction, 2 classics, 4 humor, 1 horror, 2 poetry, and 1 dystopian. And some of the books that I read kind of fit into multiple categories, but I tried to make it, try to put them in the one that they fit the most, or like fit the best. As far as the intended audience goes, I read 3 middle grade, 6 YA, 21 adult, and 4 that either fit multiple categories or something other than those 3. Which for me, reading that many adult books is actually surprising to me. I thought that I tended to read more YA, so it's interesting for me at least to figure out that I'm reading more adult books than I thought. As far as star ratings go, there were 2 1 stars, 1 2.5 star, 10 books that were somewhere in the 3 star to 3.5 range, 17 books that were in the 4 to 4.5 range, and 1 5-star read. The fact that I have 17 books that I liked enough to put in the 4 to 4.5 star range is like really interesting to me, and honestly, I'm just loving the books I read apparently. So the last stat is just an author breakdown, just so I could see what I was reading. And basically I read 15 books by male authors and 19 books by female authors, which is honestly like pretty good balance, but slightly more female, and I am totally okay with that. Okay, so as far as my favorite and least favorite books for the quarter, let's start with the least favorite first, and those would be The Third Twin, which is a book I DNF'd at 2%, and I briefly talk about why I believe in the Reading Like My Grandpa video, so I'll link that in the cards and down below if you want to know more about that one. Next would be Oliver Twist, which I just was not a fan of, and I go into more detail in a review, which again I will link up in the cards and down below. And finally, Depression and Other Things, which is a poetry collection, and I believe I also talked about this one as well, and I will link it up in the cards and put it in the description as well. Now for the books that I like. So first off, we have the 5-star book of this quarter, and that is When Stars Are Scattered. And this is a memoir in a graphic novel style, following the story of the author and his younger brother as they live in a refugee camp and work towards their goal of getting out of the refugee camp and starting a new life somewhere. It is fantastic. I loved it, and it's written in such a way that, like, me as an adult got to look into what, like, a refugee camp would be like for someone who has gone through it, but also it's accessible to younger audiences as well, and they can kind of, like, learn about, like, life in a refugee camp and also just enjoy the story of, like, the author's life. Next would be Mooncakes, which is a fantasy graphic novel which follows this girl and her grandma's and one of her friends as they work together to defeat some sort of evil-y, like, monster thing that, you know, might be hanging out. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. There were various reps as far as, I believe there was a non-binary character. There was a lesbian couple, I believe, and there was also a character who was hard of hearing, and yeah, it was really awesome. I really enjoyed it. It was so good. Go read it. We also have Are You Listening? So, Are You Listening is a magical realism queer contemporary graphic novel, and basically it follows the main character as she is running away from something. We don't know what until a good bit of the way through the graphic novel, but basically we follow the main character and I believe it's a friend of her mom who just so happens to be traveling as well, and offers the main character a ride, and things go from there. It is such a good story. I really enjoyed it, and I already want to read it again. Like, it is really good. Just popping in here really quickly to say that there is a content warning for this book in the secret that the main character reveals, but as the secret is revealed later on, to me that kind of seems somewhat spoilery. So if you want to know, message me privately and I can tell you. I have my social media links down below. I can let you know what those trigger warnings are if you need to watch out for those. So those are my stats, as well as the books that I liked, that I enjoyed the most this quarter, as well as the books that I did not enjoy this quarter. So yeah, I will see you guys next time in the Bear's Nook. Bye!